Hey everyone, this morning I saw a post in one of the Facebook groups and I thought this would be a really great conversation. Today I'm here with my friend and business mentor and coach Ezra Robbins with Spa Ninjas. So she's going to be on here giving some feedback and helping me read through these comments. This is a question for business owners who employ other massage therapists and are directly involved in addressing issues. We already know it's going to be conflict. I need feedback based on real experience, not an opinion. I have a massage therapist who works 3 days a week and has a good following. This massage therapist does a good job, but has a lot of emergencies. So far, there are about 10 late cancellations by this therapist due to her injuries, a gas leak in the apartment, daughter's sickness emergency, and one case of emotional meltdown. The daughter is young and has severe disability. I understand things happen, but I don't know when the next late cancellation fee will be. Sounds really chaotic. This staff member, I don't want to say employee because we don't know if this person is a W-2 or a contractor. I give 10% off to the clients when this happens, but I care about my business and my clients, so they love the therapist a lot. What do you do with this type of therapist?
I've dealt with this on my team and my staff so many times. So many amazing therapists that life is lifing them is the best way.
Issues.
What's that?
Commitment issues and chaos.
Yeah, I have come to the term that life can life you, but it's occasionally. And when it happens consistently, it's something else is going on. It's a lack of communication. That therapist doesn't know how to communicate about their life and their needs and manage that appropriately. We run into this in the field so much. It's really frustrating, and it actually costs a lot of business.
I think that this is a case of, and we'll get into the comments and stuff, but a case of because I've kind of felt like this before when I first moved to Austin, right? Everything was really chaotic, but I was in scarcity mode and absolutely desperate for money. So I took any and all job and shifts and client I could. And the day of, like, if I had a B day and I had to cancel, like, well, it's just an app, I see that client, and I feel like I was in such desperate scarcity mode that I was jumping over dollars to pick up pennies. That's the vibe that I got, and my first gut reaction was a couple of times is mistake, it's life. Several times reoccurring over and over and over is a character trait.
Yes, it's a character trait. And what I have done to take care of the therapist and also help that therapist find balance within my schedule is I made an on-call schedule. And because I couldn't guarantee that they would show up for work, I moved them to an on-call schedule only and pretty much said you have to commit into your days or you can be pickup only. I did find that most of the time within a short, like a month or two, they'll weed themselves off of my schedule. If I can't trust someone to show up 95% of the time, we're going to have serious business conflicts because it's my name, it's my reputation. I'm also the one scrambling with whether it's me or my team on the back end to reschedule those people, to give them a discount, to get them back in. It's hours of work. 1 or 2 off in a year is lifing. Unexpected circumstances come up. Consistently, every month I'm having these problems is a communication and a character flaw. I totally agree. And no matter how good they are, they're still a liability to my company. I start to shift them onto a softer schedule, get them off of mine into a place that I can trust their work performance, or they're not able to work for me there at all. Because character to me means more than I can train hands. I can't train character.
Oh, that's a really good quote. I remember whenever I had my business back in Louisiana, I had a staff member that would constantly call out, and I realized that I was the problem because I never went over anything in the staff handbook, and I couldn't just be like, well, you need to bring me a doctor's appointment or a doctor's note every single time. And I realized that I was kind of letting them walk all over me and take advantage of the fact that I was the nice boss. I didn't set those standards right from the beginning and set a precedent of the expectations of the job, and having to do all that conflict resolution not only triggers a lot of anxiety, and it sucks to have to give away your profits and your time and consistently keep making up for it. Even the place I work, we have on calls because shit happens to us sometimes. We might get a flat tire or horrible migraine, but our on-call team is amazing, but they are required to take a couple of shifts a month to
Mhm.
stay active as well. I've juggled 4 or 5 different jobs at one time. Like I looked at my resume and I'm like, the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing catering and alcohol massage and trying to build my own thing? It's a lot. So we don't obviously know what's going on in this therapist's life, but it sounds like she probably doesn't have a lot of help at home, probably in scarcity mode, running on fumes, a little chaotic.
And she needs more flexibility to her schedule. Obviously, there's something going on that she can't be committed, whether it's energy, whether it's something at home, whether it's financial. She's unable to make that commitment. And that's crucial for a business work relationship, is that you can hold to your communication and your commitments at least 90% of the time. We can all understand life coming at us, except when it's just consistently. And then it's like, okay, fix your shit, fix your.
So we always say we teach clients how to treat us. We also teach them what to expect of us. And there's a reason why a lot of clients, I'm sure we've all had that client, that one person who has told us, oh, my other therapist was so flaky, or they canceled all the time, or they're never available. We've got to start establishing a sense of trust. We want to give the best to our customers as well. And if we're in a state of chaos in our mind, our clients are going to feel that. This post says that the clients really like this therapist. Well, how are you receiving that feedback? Is it 5-star reviews on Google? That's valuable. Or is it word of mouth at the front desk that isn't converting into a new client? Because those clients are going to stop coming if they are constantly being rescheduled. It's unprofessional. One person says, a 3-day-a-week employee. I'm going to say the word staff member because, again, almost everybody's misclassified in this industry. So 3-day-week staff member and still can't make it. You can give this person a formal notice and warning. And if attendance doesn't change, you can get rid of them. Well, you can only do this if they're an employee, like make them get written up for things if it's written in the handbook, which I'm sure you have. What are your policies for that?
We took everyone individually, honestly. I understand when life is lifing and what's going on. And so we had active stepping stones within our business that allowed us to keep a tab on what was going on with our team in general, to understand where they're at with their family or their home life, because we can understand if you have sickness at home and stuff like that. We just need context and background and supportive communication. So we did take everything almost individually. We were small enough still to do that. And at the same time, I can smell a lie a mile away. And when it just starts to pile up time after time, it's like, whether it's something in your life, whether it's you kind of BSing me or you BSing yourself or whatever's going on, the communication is breaking down if I'm constantly rescheduling clients and taking the hit. And so we really just looked at our staff. Every month we had a stepping stone that was like, what's working for you? What's not working for you? What solutions do you have? And that was a metric point each month for our team to check in with us. And we put it out in a form in our communication channels so that they can respond. And with good performance, meaning they showed up to their job duties, they were at 95% of their shifts and that were scheduled for them. They showed up for their job. My team received a spa treatment each month. We didn't just give it though. It had to be earned credit by you showed up for your shifts. You didn't have a lot of sick leave. You weren't on vacation all month. It wasn't just a given. It was you hit your metrics. That really helped us catch this super quick when I put that kind of SOP on my team. Within 1 month or 2 months, we could see someone coming and we could say, hey, I don't think this job is going to be the best fit for you. I can move you onto my on-call schedule if it's someone we really liked their massage or we had a lot of good feedback. But if we can't get that communication aligned, if I can't get the security of time, you're going to show up, it's just not workable.
Yeah, you don't want to spend all of the waking hours of your job having to do damage control and reschedule clients. The fuck is the point in having a client to begin with if you're constantly having to reschedule them?
I used to be the nice boss. I came in this with a therapist heart. After getting walked over and covering massages and falling for the stories, I think I just got, you know what? I've got my life too. I can't have 15, 20 stories of why. I need people to show up and take care of the commitments that they committed into without feeling like I'm hassling them to do a job they committed to.
Commitment's really important. And this next person says, this just is not the industry for that type of flaky behavior. She needs a much more flexible job. Her attendance is reflection on your company. It would be different if she was a room renter. That is true. I agree with her only being 3 days a week, and that's pretty ridiculous. And if she was a room renter, she would be doing her own damage control, and you wouldn't have to be babysitting this grown adult who is babysitting other people. It's hard to manage people who have a lot, who are dysregulated.
Do you address it when it happens? The next time it does, talk to her. Make it clear she needs to be there on time. Write her up. It sounds harsh, but it protects the business and it shows you mean it. I've gone through seasons of having to take care of someone with major needs. It can't affect work regularly. Confrontation is hard, but you will drive yourself crazy if you don't have these conversations. Good luck. Agreed. It's just talk to her and write her up. If it is an employee, you have to write them up. It does sound mean. It does sound hard, but you need to say, hey, this is stop. Don't make it about them. Make it about the action. You were late to work.
Envy would have written them up. Massage Heights would have written them up. Would have written them up after at least a certain amount of times.
Yeah. I'm the first time, hey, you're running late. I need you to be on time. This is the time I require you to be in. You'll get one verbal warning from me. After that, I learned the hard way. You have to do a formal document for an W-2 employee. That way, if for some reason you guys do end up parting ways or you need to let go of someone, you have covered your bases as an employer. If it's a 1099, hey, this is not working. You can be on our on-call schedule to see if we can find some balance within your flexibility, within the flexibility you do have, or we need to find something else so that I can ensure that my clients can be taken care of. I address this right away. It's not worth holding off, letting it, even if I need to get on a quick phone call.
It's avoidance.
Even if I get on a quick phone call and say, hey, this is your second warning. I am going to have a paper that you're just going to need to sign that just states that we have a challenge. The solution is you need to show up at this time on time. I need to see that this recovery over the next month, you're not having any more call outs or any more late times, or we're going to have to convene again. So you do have to start that process going through it.
I don't want to say trouble, but I definitely had a good talking to from the manager of the spa that I work at, because I was in the middle of moving into my new house, and the same 2 weeks the lead therapist took off a vacation. So I took a lot of extra shifts and then covered another shift for another coworker because I needed money for my new house. And things were just so chaotic. Oh my God. I gave one woman a 60-minute massage when she had booked a 90. That wasn't fun. Luckily, it was the best 60-minute massage of her life, she said, but she didn't get what she ordered. I shorted her by accident. Then I was late twice because I had forgotten or didn't set my alarm or got the time wrong. And then one of the appointments that I messed up on was a couples massage, so it affected the other therapist. I'm like, fuck, this is not my week. And my manager sat me down and she goes, what's going on? And I said, I'm moving right now. I swear this is it's not intentional. I promise that I will slow down and set my alarms and be more mindful. And she goes, okay, it's just because of the move, like nothing like crazy is going on right now. She was checking in on me. I said, yeah, everything's good. It's my ADHD and I'm moving. Otherwise, this would not be me. I haven't been depressed lately. I've been on time for work. I'm sure everything's good. I'm overextended, and I realize that.
That's the thing with management. If you have a pin on your staff, you know their general character, you know when something's out of order, and you can sit down and talk to them and say, hey, are you okay? What's going on? We worked with someone that her son was diagnosed with cancer. I tried to get her to go home, and she goes, no, I need something to keep my mind busy and stuff. And we did all kinds of stuff. It's a hard truth that some people have kids that are going through really tough times and they're able to do it. And then there's other people with kids going through really tough times and they're unable to do it. Regardless, the difference is the communication and the commitment. Can you commit fully to the communication? And if you can't commit, can you reframe and reschedule your communication before it blows up and lands up in someone else's lap. When someone's been called out 10 times in a short amount of time, it just tells me she's messy. In the next comment, this former owner pretty much said the same thing. She said, there's so much to this. I ran a business for 10 years with staff, and one bad apple will ruin the whole team. Solid truth. But their child has a disability, so there's that. It's not an easy call. By the way you describe it, it seems you already have your doubts. These are all necessary emergencies and cancellations, and you keep mentioning that the clients love the therapist, so it shows you know her strengths.
But when that therapist is late for the clients consistently,
that's not a strength.
It looks bad on the business. It looks bad on the reputation of the business, not that therapist.
This lady, she goes on to say, I kept some on because I see the potential in people that they don't see in themselves, and they ruin the whole team. I've actually had to clean my whole house one time, almost my whole house, because I kept a bad apple on. That rotted my team. And I wasn't with my team on the regular anymore. And boy, I just let some red flags fly because I didn't want to have to do it. I wanted to trust in the light I see in them and the potential I see in them. I would run over this stuff, and it did. It ruined my whole team. I learned the real hard way. You got to be very careful on giving too many passes. Once someone gets away with something and it signals to others that they can do it, it signals to your whole team, hey, you let her off, you're going to be cool with me. And all of a sudden you have more than one person do that. You're also taking the hit, the 10% discount. The therapist is not eating that. You're bringing in the skills that they have, earning the value. You have to look at them as a number from this point of view and still have empathy for life happening. And the number is, and honestly, if you're in business, you have to count by the dollars. If you have a therapist that is not able to create the revenue that gives them a job and they are costing you money by employing them, that is doing someone a favor. It is not creating a job.
I wonder if the manager pulls the amount of cancellations that she had, and she's like, this is over X thousands of dollars in cancellations from this quarter. And it's not an accusation, it's an observation. Because when you come at stuff like this, you have to be, I think in past want to give people benefit of the doubt, but we can also come off as maybe we're accusing somebody. So you have to come at it neutral and benign and say they're observations. These are the things I have observed. These are the things that are happening. These are the dominoes that fell because of it. This is how much, not that the spa has missed on revenue. This is how much extra on your paycheck that wasn't on it because of the cancellations, and putting it out there like that. Sometimes it's a little bit of a wake up call for people.
Well, and I think if you do honest math with people, the math doesn't lie, and you can explain it and still be compassionate about what's going on. Math doesn't lie. Hey, we have to replace this much money. It's costing us this much. We had to do this. This is the revenue you bring in. This is the paycheck plus your gratuities. This is what we pay in taxes, or if you're an employee and stuff. The math itself doesn't lie, but a business does have to think from the numbers. And that's a hard thing within the healing community, is that a lot of business owners come at this from their heart. They stop thinking with the numbers and they think about what that person needs, because we're just trying to care for people. At the end of the day, if we're only hurting ourselves and the rest of the staff, we're definitely hopping over those dollars just to pick up pennies. I actually had a therapist that was retiring out of the career, and she had kept reducing her schedule, but she also was reducing it to a point that she was requesting with her seniority to take a room in the way she was asking her schedule in. At one point we let her, but it wasn't allowing anyone to share the room with her. It was kind of like this mid shift. And once we cracked down on our KPIs and went through it, we had to sit down and say, I know you love this shift, but we cannot afford to have one room secluded to you because you want to work this. You either have to choose these shifts, or we have to figure something out, because it is at this point about room capacity. So you do have to balance the needs of your team with the needs of business.
This is what some other business owners are saying as well. I had a therapist like that, always saying they needed time off for random things, and it became almost weekly. They only worked 2 days a week and gave zero energy into the work that they did do. I didn't do anything to start because it seemed like the clients liked them. They ended up quitting just as I was fed up and was going to let them go. Like you just said, you know, when it comes to a natural end. I found out from the little amount of clients that they did see that they actually weren't very happy with them. They just liked the days of the week that they worked and were available. So now moving forward, I would just give a warning and then get rid of them. It's not worth holding on to if it's stressing you and your business out.
This next response I have is very similar to what I've learned in the longevity and the maturity of being a business owner. And it's from my experience, not setting clear expectations upon hiring in writing and signed. First thing is the issue. Hands down, that's the issue. I will never put myself through that again with a therapist. Never. When it's no longer aligned, it's no longer aligned. The first time you feel uncomfortable in your own business is the indicator something is off. Step back, create written expectations and boundaries, and stick to them. Here's what I know for sure. A therapist can be the best with modality, but if they don't understand how to separate personal from professional life, your business will suffer. There needs to be limit. If I felt like an abusive relationship to me, I kept making excuses for them until the end. They created a victim narrative when I set boundaries. Never again. Oh my goodness, I've done that. I've done that. It was such a hard lesson because, you know, yes, I'm an SOP queen now, but it was from hard lessons learned. Honestly, I needed these down. Having those clear expectations. She's not wrong after seeing the best in so many people and then just being turned sideways no matter how much I tried. I learned that if it's not aligned, it's just not aligned. And as I felt that uncomfortableness, I also learned to just step back and let them work themselves through it. I knew what was coming after a while. I just needed to work through the process because I saw the character traits, or I saw people have habits and they're going to keep those habits.
Well, this is it's for the opposite as well, especially as a first-time business owner. You might unintentionally project your chaos and shit onto your staff members. And something that you said at the beginning of the video, one bad apple can ruin the bunch. That happened to me too. I got screwed over by somebody so bad that I projected what they did to me onto future staff members, which is not fair because A, they don't know who the fuck they are, and B, this new staff member is going into a job with the business owner who's paranoid about something that you didn't even fucking do.
Yeah.
And I would not give access to any. Here's the problem, since I'm so transparent with stuff. I would not give the new employees access to anything. They couldn't change their own schedule. They couldn't update their hours. They couldn't get into the client system, see anything. I just cracked down. I was like, fuck no, nobody's getting access to anything. That created a lot more hard work on myself. And it's because I had a falling out with the previous manager, learned lots of lessons, and had people quit on me at the same time that I was letting some people go because I had people as a contractor and I wanted to switch to W-2. Like you said, sometimes you just have to clean house and that shit gets messy, especially if the house is really cluttered full of stuff you didn't need to begin with. So it does go both ways. And this next business owner says, you as a business owner, is up to your discretion. Is she otherwise a good therapist? It seems like her clients like the work that she does. First of all, there's therapists desperate for jobs everywhere. I hate to say this person's replaceable, but you want to make sure that you're nurturing a staff member too, not babysitting a child. I understand that it's frustrating having to rearrange schedules and discount sessions, but that is an inevitable part of this industry. Many of the things you listed resulted in cancellations are beyond control: gas leaks, injury, sick child, not to mention being a caregiver for this severely disabled child. There's a line to walk as a business owner where we decide to show grace, and we also have to protect our business. If the consistent last-minute cancellations are so disruptive that it's worth losing an otherwise good therapist, only you can decide that. You know your business and staff best. Is there someone on call to come and cover the appointments? If not, are you willing to hire one? And at my job, it's kind of known that if we need to take off or switch appointments, we ask among ourselves first, and then we go to the manager if we can't fill it and we really need to get off and somebody can't help. But it's a lot of hassle to work around this type of energy.
I would actually say on that last comment, and I may be speaking from my own bias too, but it's like, I don't feel like you've owned a business long enough if you're still willing to handle that. Because to me, does it come with the space and place? Yeah, but when it's just tolerated all the time and expected, no. People will just keep showing up with that same bad behavior, and then it will spill over on the staff. I had to get really firm on my staff of like, hey, this is your shift. This is when you're here. This is where you show up. And we were really good at documenting, writing out offer letters, signing clear expectations. So people were really aligned with the job that they were walking into. And then still, even though they're agreeing to that, there's so many people, it's a character maturity thing to find your time management. I do want to go back to what you were saying with projecting really quick, because it's funny the way you said that. You projected onto your employees. I've done that before, but I see across the industry how we project all over each other. You see therapists like, I had a bad manager, every spa sucks. And I was sitting there going, gosh, I've listened to, I work.
These all-encompassing matter-of-fact statements.
Everyone is like this. And I think one thing I had to learn heavily is that we have to take each person as an individual. If we group up, all massage therapists are flaky, then I'm sitting here going, no, not me, And you're going, no, not you. Living in the industry, we're being successful. So it's not everyone and all thing. It's one person that is still learning along the way.
I wonder, knowing a little bit about the Chinese elements and stuff, if this person is a little bit like me maybe, and wind personality or water, very emotional, very all over the place. So that can play a role in this therapist mannerisms as well.
Wish you could do human design on every employee as they come in. What's your birth time, day,
give me your Enneagram, give me your Myers-Briggs, give me all the litmus tests. I'm going to know exactly your birth.
Who am I dealing with? As an employer, if you make a 30 to 90 day window of testing, those written agreements, and you'll fish out someone's personality. Everyone shows their clean slate within the first 30 days. And then after that, the habits start to sit in and you see someone's real character come into play. They'll either show up strong or they'll show up however they show up. But that's the time frame for most owners to make a determination. Is this someone who's going to settle in my team? Is this someone I want to spend money on? Is this someone that I want to anchor in and invest into? Because as an employer, it is an investment to put someone on my team. I used to spend that investment frivolously by looking at someone's potential in light. And after learning that my money was not being invested wisely into the right people, I chose then to invest into the people that were sticking with me on my team, sending them to continuing education classes and pouring training into them after I had figured that it was worth the investment of someone that was wanting to learn and be a part of our team and get rooted.
It's kind of like dating a little bit. You decide who you're willing to put that investment into. So I have one last comment from this thread, and hopefully this conversation has helped. So this last one says, if it's worth potentially losing a therapist and losing the clients that love her so much, because if this therapist leaves, are they going to take the clients with them? That's a whole other topic. And if the clients can understand and are willing to accommodate her unpredictable schedule, then I would advise you to do the same. It is frustrating to offer a discount for each time there's a last minute cancellation. Like you said, maybe she could just be on call or have the cancellation list. That's also a possibility too, especially if their schedule is also sporadic. Is there another way you can make it up to the clients that doesn't cost the business money? Say a free add-on of hot towels or hot stones or scalp massage in lieu of the 10%. She works 3 days a week and brings in enough clients to help run your business. I would say she's more of an asset than not. While she's there, you can always talk with her about it to clear your mind and get things out on the table, but I wouldn't let it go as far as disciplinary actions before a frank conversation. I totally agree with this too, especially if you're a small business, you're not a corporate business. Maybe she can shift things on her end and isn't realizing it's that big of an issue as you feel like it is. And that could be the case too. It's not her business. She doesn't care about this business as much as the business owner does. That's why we're in business.
Well, I think most people, they don't all of us, we're very self-serving, right? We think about our needs and what's going on with us. I think a lot of therapists don't know what happens behind the scenes of a business and the constant cogs and tinkerings that are going. So a good conversation, absolutely. Maturity in business tells me I just don't give this a lot of time or bandwidth. I just don't have a lot to give in it anymore. So for me, it'd be an on-call list and to just see, hey, we're having something that's not working here between us. Can we create a solution? Do you have one for me? This is mine. Let's see if we can recommit.
I like how you ask people in meetings and stuff, do you have a solution? For me, it gives them the opportunity to really step up and show their capabilities and their problem-solving skills and critical thinking. And I've never had any employer ask me that, because I got all kinds of solutions. I want to run my mouth and tell them how to do everything, but nobody ever asked me.
At first, it was like, sure, give me feedback if we need feedback. And people kept bringing me problems, and some of them were like, yeah, you're trying to give me a $10,000 solution or a $1,000 solution or a buy this or a do this type thing. So I had to really kind of come up with handing my team their power back to be part of the team. And that's part of communication. It's you're giving each other sovereignty in communication.
What's been some of the best solutions that other staff members have proposed to you? Has anything really stuck out over the years?
Well, it depends on what it is. I mean, I had the staff members come up with the on-call schedule themselves when they were struggling. You know, it happens, truthfully. I had a girl that she was fantastic, and then she got pregnant and her little bean just about took her down in the whole spa with it, you know, and we finally just had to be like, I love you, and your little bean is going to take everyone out. We can't do this. Let's on-call you until you feel better. And then she just had a really rough pregnancy, and she was like, I can't even feel better, you know, and she took herself off of it. You know, we've had people kind of go on and off of it. So that's one of our more easier solutions that we've had. I'd have to go through some of mine, but generally, because we had it on a monthly basis, people were problem solving themselves. And that's what I wanted to empower my team with. It's like, don't make me I wrote out my dictionary. Those are my SOPs. I'm happy for feedback. Don't ask me for $1,000 piece of equipment without how this goes into how it goes into our menu and stuff like that. So I had where they can do wishes and stuff, and we'd sit down if it wasn't going to work out on a particular issue that they brought up. But at the end of the day, my goal was to bridge communication between the team and the management. We run businesses, and we teach owners to run businesses from the concept of a business owner is here to create a space and help the management. The management is there to create structure and help the team. The team is there to be of service and welcome the guest. And so if we can loop it around so that everyone knows what their defined job is, they're not stepping all over each other and micromanaging each other. I had such strong teams a lot of the times. There's definitely times within my business where I had to restructure teams or I had a weak link.
We do an episode about incentivizing a team, because this is such a fun topic. We have the best career ever. We really do. We're not going to be replaced by robots. We don't want to see people burn out anymore. We want to see them hit their goals. We want to see them love their job, love their coworkers, whether they're self-employed or working a weekend at a fancy hotel spa. We want to love our clients and ourselves and our lives and create something that's going to fill our cup as well, not just drain us, because we cannot heal other people in a state of being completely dysregulated ourselves. And it's really important that we come back to ourselves and stay regulated and be mindful and learn how to solve problems before they start and have our shit together. Because if you're anything like me, having to do conflict resolution when it could have been prevented to start with, I don't know if it's the Irish in me or what, but it's infuriating to me.
Yeah, I say it's the Spanish in me, the Miami in me. Why are we here? And yeah, I find with teams and with working with women, we're 98% female driven industry. Women are family first, sovereignty first. So it's family, freedom, and then self or work. With men, it's generally work, family, freedom. So women switch that around. Not a lot of women, unless they're like corporate A players, are going to be switched into the career, family, and then their freedom. Most are going to be family first. My freedom is highly important, and then my career can fall around that, because we have to raise our families and we're taking care of our communities and we're doing these caretaking jobs and stuff. So I've got some great ideas around incentivizing teams. I've been building out some incentivized career paths for young therapists that want to learn to lead for another team that I'm working with. And I'm just loving how we can find strength for them as we're growing their maturity in their job.
And for everyone watching, tell us what you would have done if you own a business and if you had a situation that was similar. How did you navigate that? We are in such a unique career and there's so many different ways to approach these problems. And from what we just read online, it seems that in conclusion, people seem to think, obviously, have an honest, open conversation with her before writing her up or anything like that. Run your reports. Make sure you know exactly how much money that you both are losing because of this and the hassle. She could possibly rent a room. Maybe she just needs to take a step away from the spa and do some of the app massages for a bit, or maybe she could just take over the cancellation list. Those seems to be the best solutions that people have come up with for this particular problem. But if you've gone through something similar, please tell us in the comments, like, what was the situation and how did you handle it? What was the response? Did you end up having to replace said staff member, or did you end up resolving the problem? These conversations are really important to have, because running a business and managing people is not easy. And that's why I decided just to go mobile and start teaching and not deal with employees anymore. This shit's hard. I don't have the mental energy for it. It's a lot of emotional labor that I just don't have the capacity for at this moment in my life. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this little mini episode. I think I might call this series, I have a client or I have an employee who ... And we can dive into some of these situations and see from the hive mind what these solutions are, the different ways to cook a chicken, and what some of the industry veterans have been through and how they have approached these different problems and the solutions that we found. So, thank you so much. It was so nice having you. Definitely tune in for future episodes. We have a lot coming your way. You can check us out at spaninjas.com, badassbodyworkers.com, and all the resources and links and everything are going to be in the comments below. Thank you.